Hello, we're back. Welcome to Sunday Night Soccer on a special Monday Night Soccer edition, Cinco de Mayo. How you doing, Mike D?
I'm good, man. I got my margarita in
Oh,
my
there you
Soccer
go.
Rebellion cup, but I'm good, man. It's been nonstop work since Friday.
Yeah.
We had our opening night of Bridge Street League. With finally there. It's my favorite time of year. It's just a vibe. We get the whole community out in Grand Rapids at Las Conchas and watching these young ballers play. We got like 8 new expansion teams. It is crazy. Who is this? Who's this?
We got people already eager. They want to watch the show.
Hey,
they want to
you know what?
Show.
But if you're part of the street soccer culture, everything's late. That's what it is. But I appreciate you tuning in. So my bad. But anyway, dude, so that it was insane. We had over 400, 500 people there. They balled out. We have so much to talk about when it comes to that. I'm excited about having that as a new segment. And then come Saturday and Sunday, I had I had 4 games to coach, including going 3 hours away to Petoskey. So, and you know how that is, and we'll get to that later. But how was your weekend, man? How are you doing? It's good to see you, Jay.
Man. We both been busy. So we had a little time off for Easter. We've been really busy. Things are getting started, and we've just been busy. But hey, we're back. I'm glad you said that because we're going to lead us to our first segment here. Bridge Street League. You're going to explain to everybody what it is, what the vibe is, what it's about. And we got a special guest with us to help us out with that. So we're going to show a quick video first. You want to show the video?
Yeah. So before we get to the video, so we took the this is our Bridge Street League commercial. So it's going to be airing on OTT, which is like YouTube and things of that nature, more streaming services. And it's also going to be on television, so local networking. And then this is also already on social media. So we're really excited about it. It's going to be a series of commercials. We took the inspiration from the old Michael Jordan, Larry Bird commercials. You know how they'd say off the wall, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, in the back of the net. So we kind of took it from that, but then it just kind of turned into its own thing. And we took 2 of the MVPs from last year from the Bridge Street League. The Bridge Street League is a one-of-a-kind league. It's the only street soccer league in Grand Rapids. It's the best soccer league in the United States. And what we do is we cultivate the community, bring everyone together for organizations, make sure that we have the flavor of the city represented with live DJs, local food trucks, local organizations out there in support, and we just celebrate players in the game together all one night. We sell Modelos, we get drunk, we dance. We even had a crackhead there this time. That was crazy, but it is.
And a little soccer.
But it's a blast. Dude, it's literally my favorite thing to do. I'm like, if you think of, like, you're around soccer and you get the party, that's what this is. It's and one on steroids.
All right, let's check it out.
It's coming out of it.
Let's rep in the new shirt that we have. All right, yeah. So this is the video. Here's the commercial.
I bet.
Love it.
I got like half of it. It felt like it was mad choppy in the beginning, and I was just sitting there looking at how long it took to get set up. But yeah, the video's pretty sweet. We showed it to Nike. Nike loves it. Big things. And then for it to be continued, the idea behind that commercial really was to set up a storyline so we could promote other things besides just Bridge Street League. So throughout the whole year, where we have our takeover tour events, while we have the underground opening, we'll continue that story and then just kind of promote at the end. So just a little bit easier marketing on the eyes, you know what I mean? And Lauren and Caesar are fantastic players, and it was awesome to have them about it. But yeah, man, that kicked off this Friday.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love it. Love it. So tell everybody a little bit about, I'll let you and Dre kind of take the floor now and explain a little bit about it. I've been to one of your tournaments when you guys were here last year with the MLS All-Star game in Columbus. So I kind of know what the scene was like, but just explain kind of the overall league, how people get into it, the format, all that kind of stuff.
So what I'll do, Jay, and everyone listening, I'll break it down what the league's formatted as so everyone can kind of understand that's not part of the Bridge Street League. And then we're creating some storylines that are just happening naturally. So what we're trying to do, Dre and I, is tell you what we're seeing, and these storylines will unfold. So there's a few things that we want to focus on today and talk about what happened. And I mean, because the competition is fantastic. And there's a lot to follow. There's a lot to see. So your best bet is coming out and watching this, coming out on Friday nights. And we do this every other week at Las Conchas. But so we have 16 men's teams. We have 8 women's teams. They play doubleheaders on Friday nights. And they're competing for this new community shield, the Soccer Rebellion community shield that we have, that actually is the Captain America shield with the R in the middle of it. Each player plays for free because they have a local sponsor, a local organization that pays for a custom jersey that we get from a local artist. So everything's with a street vibe. We have players that tell us that they're interested in playing and that they have a squad, and they're representing a certain neighborhood, a certain part of their world, whatever they represent, whatever it's from Kennewa Hills, whatever it's from Burton Heights, whether it's from Kentwood, they come out and they kind of represent their neighborhood. And they do that all season long, and they're fighting and they're playing street soccer. So there's no refs. Everything is call your own foul. We have judges there to help them out to make sure nothing gets out of control. And then we take stats, and then so we keep everything relevant. This year, we've introduced a point system to where now the more accolades you get points, and you can trade on those points to get swaggered items. So the competition is growing in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids is a hidden gem for ballers. I'm telling you. We have 240 players coming out to these things, plus whatever fans that are coming. And the skill is remarkable. How many times I've had people that are in the suburban soccer world come to this shit and be like, whoa, I did not know we had this. And it's like their first time seeing futsal or seeing the street level. And street soccer is different. It's about earning the respect. Like if you're going to be the guy that calls a foul every time, you're going to lose respect. You're going to become the bitch. And so you don't do that. Like, and so it's crazy. It's almost was a crazy social experiment in the beginning, but then we realized there is no refs, there's no one to kind of point fingers to, you can't really play anyone. So it's been great. And the sponsors that we have are into it. They represent these players, they connect. And so now you have another intricate relationship within the community. So it's weaving this like fabric of community and culture and creating a new identity of soccer within America, all represented by these players. It's insane. It's crazy insane to be part of. So that's what the league is. So on the men's side, 16 teams. This started as men in the beginning. So you have the OGs of the league, right? You have the OGs of the league. You have people that are known throughout the soccer world. That would be Calisteo. That would be Guatemala. That would be R1s, Chill FC, BIH, and One Touchables. It's like the original 7, like you would in hockey almost.
Yeah.
And then now we have these expansion teams and teams that are starting to create a name for themselves. And then on the women's side, we have Manshine, Zoo City, Cuz Girls as players too, RBDs, Venom, Lounge FC, Sugar Rush, and La Rebellion. So Sugar Rush, we started this with women a year and a half ago now, a year ago. 2 years ago now, and they've won everything. So that's kind of the team. On the other side, Guatemala's won it twice, and Calistea's won it once. And we're doing this. Gotcha. So those are those are your champions thus far in the beginning of this. So getting started on all this, let me just do a breakdown, Dre, and then we'll get into storylines of statistics and where everyone's at. We're going to be putting out standings and then player stats later this week. So here's a quick glimpse. In first place on the men's side, we have Calisteo. Second place, Guatemala. Third place, R1s. Fourth place, Chill FC, all with a perfect record. They're both 2-0 after last week. Fourth place, BIH. Do not sleep on BIH. BIH is this Bosnian pro club. That's a story in itself. These guys are hard-working, gritty. The way that they play, they come to compete. Like every time they come in there, like it would be the team that you don't want to go. They're the New York Knicks. They're going to go hard 100% every time. Bridge Street Bangers, new club, new team. They're 1-1. La Clica, that's the surprise team in my opinion, Dre. When we'll get there in a little bit. They're 1-1 in sixth place. As Tekkas FC in eighth place, City Heat FC in ninth place, Muskegon FC, real dogs on that team. In 10th place, tied with West Santos FC in 10th place, Kentwood City FC in 12th place, Zoo City FC in 13th place, Untouchables in 14th, West Michigan Wrath in 15th, and 616 United in 15th. And then on the women's side, we have Sugar Rush in first place. You have RBDs in second place with a 2-0, and they're an expansion team that we have. And then you have Zoo City, Venom, Lounge FC all tied for that third place. And then you have, because girls is players 2, 0-2, and La Rebellion 0-2. So those are the standings and where we're at there. Dre is the tournament director, right? So he gets to see all the scores. He's on top of the games more than anyone. He sees the stats. Dre, let's talk about the champions first. Let's talk about the returning champions. And as I spoke about Calisteo and Sugar Rush, what did you see? What did you hear? Like, where's this storyline going? Like, we're creating this magic, and like we're seeing this magic. You know, where do we want to direct this? Like, what are you seeing as the biggest talking point here?
Well, I would say court 3 was a surprise. That's the court that's furthest away from the action. So there was a huge crowd, following the different teams that played at court 3. I thought those games were more competitive as well, a little chippy. So I spent a lot of time down there helping one of our young scorekeepers. But when it comes to the champs, I mean, you see those guys, they popping it on Instagram. They keep it spicy throughout the week. And it's something that I think we needed in this league. When you're talking about, Caesar in the commercial, right? And then you got Jair, who Mike and myself, we dubbed him as James Harden back when he was, 19 years old?
Yeah, right.
Playing in the Rebellion. Because he always wore James Harden jersey, and that's when Harden was cooking everybody in the NBA.
You know what's crazy about that? I'm going to stop you right there. So they're one of the most renowned coaches here in West Michigan, Jay. He said he had Jay just won some national futsal tournament. I think it was national. I'm not sure. And one of the coach, John Conlon, saw it, and and I reshared what his winning. And Jay had a speech, and so he's always got something like he makes himself the bad guy, which is dope. Like me and Dre love his swagger, right? He's but he's like the true villain. But the renowned coach goes, James Harden, I've been telling everyone about this kid. Like literally create a reputation over like what Dre has been calling him, like, and what the soccer. It's kind of cool that these images and clout that's been created through the Soccer Rebellion is pretty dope. But this kid is, man.
Yeah, but then he got a younger brother who's right now
Marcos.
He's taking everybody by storm, and he's just plays. He's fearless out there. He don't back down from nobody, and he's kind of like, not to create anything between the team, but he looked like he's ready, for the throne himself, right? So they got a lot of guys on that team. So, but it was impressive to see those guys, back in in that rare form last week. So. It's cool. I follow them on Instagram and stuff, so I see a lot of their training in the off season. So, they look how we expect them to look.
So Calisteo had 2 games. One game got forfeited, Untouchables. So here's the deal: if you don't have enough guys to show up, you can either forfeit. They had 4 guys that left, and we can't have it. So they got fined $100.
Yeah.
and then they forfeited. So there was a 5-0 win that they got automatically. But the second game, they played Muskegon FC. Muskegon FC has a bunch of dogs. There's this guy named Coco on that team that, if you look at any of our posts, he's the one he's crazy athletic. He plays for also the Risers and Arena League. But he's the one doing the bike. Like, we have this iconic photo. He's about to be on billboards. But he has this iconic bike. The kid can jump through the roof. He's crazy fast. And he's got a bunch of other guys. There's another guy that looks like a tennis pro with his hat backwards that I dig too. That's on there. But they got ballers, right? They got futsal players that are super quick, know how to move the ball. For reference, they beat I would say Muskegon is a top 5 team in the league. At a 16, they're probably top 5, maybe at that 5. They beat them 10-2. Jair, the guy we're talking about, James Harden, had 5 of those goals. Like, he's just a monster on the field. And so
now, do you play for a certain amount of time, or do you play to goals, or what's the format?
We play 2 12-minute halves. So it's a 30-minute game, right? So it's fast. It's hardcore. They have between 7 to 10 players on their team, subs on the fly. It's all that.
Okay.
What's different about Calais Steel too is they play with 2 different goalies, which I noticed. So I'm wondering if that's going to be a tactic that we see, to where when they get a league, they put another one that's more of a defensive player, someone that's going to disrupt, rather than someone better on the ball. And I think what's changed about this league, so this team also used to be Chill FC. They used to be on the team Chill FC. And this was kind of Nike's like team. Like, Nike came out. When we did a thing in Chicago, took photos of them. They were all over Dick's Sporting Goods with U.S. men's national team gear through our relationship with Nike. They just couldn't pass Guatemala. They couldn't win the championship in the takeover tour. They couldn't be R1s. So it was always like R1s, Guatemala, then Chill FC. And so they eventually broke off. And when they broke off, it was like boy band, like drama. Like, it was like, it was like, oh shit, like, don't do this.
Like NSYNC just broke up.
Yeah, it was. And even Nike was telling us, like, dude, you don't let them break up. But they did. And it's working in their favor. And here's what I'll say, Dre, what impresses me about this team. First of all, Jair Real looking like classic man with his new haircut. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to play that song every time he steps on. He stepped into another beast mode, superstar level. Like, he continues to just, like, wow. Like, that 19-year-old kid we saw in Valleywood Gym to this kid is, I'm trying to make a comparison. It's the, I don't know, who was a player that in 5 years, like the Jalen Brunson curve. Like, I'm obviously using Knicks players, but like Anthony Edwards curve. It's all of a sudden you're seeing this kid. But what's interesting to me is Caesar, the MVP last year. He's taken that role player captain kind of role where he's going to be the glue of what the team. He's not worried about stats. He seems to be more or less being the guy that what they need. Like, he's the Batman of it.
He's about winning.
He's about winning. And so I work next to him. He's become a coach in high school. He's become coach for a club. And so you can kind of see that osmosis, as you know, Jay, when you become a coach, you see the bird's eye view. And
a lot different.
I think you're starting to see that maturity with him and what he's doing. So, yeah, they came out by storm and they made a splash. One thing I also want to note, so moving on from Calais Steel, who are your surprise teams? And we're going to stay on the men's side. We'll pop over to women's here in a minute. Oh, you know what? Let's stay on the men's side. Who are your surprise teams from the expansion spot? Did anyone pop out to you from the new teams that you're starting to see?
Well, we talked about the Clicker. We talked about them already, but I know Kentwood probably Kent City, the Kentwood team, they didn't get it done, but they look better as well. So even away from the expansion, they look like they've got it together a little bit. And I know a couple of our guys play for that team as well. But from what I saw from them on Friday night too, I think they could surprise a couple teams.
Yeah, I like the La Clica a lot. I was definitely surprised by La Clica. They took Chill FC, which is an undefeated team, to PKs at the very end. I forget the guy's name that was just balling out of control.
But even with them taking on the PKs, Mike, they gave up a goal so late in that second half where they could have put that game away. It was like almost,
Yeah.
that was a heartbreaker right there for them to even go to PKs.
Yeah. And Chill FC, again, that's what you have with experience. Chill FC is probably the most renowned, with Aaron Gomez and Chuco on that team. And they added some other, old school ballers on there. That's that veteran experience closing out games.
Yeah.
You even see that in this league. And so I'm not surprised about the top four. BIH only lost because they played R1s and they lost 6-5. BIH is a team. So they're, again, the top six are solid. Those guys are going to be going like this the entire season.
I like BIH's goalie. He got a lot of, he's a young fella, man.
Oh yeah, Barrett. Yeah, or no, what's his name? Shoot, I can't remember. Yes, he's the man. And Jay was missing too. Jay Torek was missing. I think Aztecas are good. They got some fire in them as well. And I think selfishly, West Santos FC is another one that they were the one that bring in the crowd and they had energy. They won a late game 2-1, where they had some fouls during that game to where it was questionable. And it looked like the ref could have taken some things away from them or bad calls, but they still stuck it out and won via PKs. And you felt the emotional uproar after PKs. So I love the energy. Love the energy.
One thing we got to remind them about is the pickups, right? We got to make that, as official, so that goalies aren't picking up the ball with their hands and then resetting the game every time. It's a skill, right? To be able to control the ball with your feet, then get it out to your teammates. So we got to make sure that that's crystal clear come next week.
Yeah. So Jay, that's an old rule. Grand Rapids, and during pickup, the goalie used to be able to pick it up as many times as he wanted.
Yeah.
All right. And then so during tour, we found out that everyone hated that besides Grand Rapids. It was like, and I picked that up from playing at BH Courts and where everyone was playing pickup. And so last year we changed it because what it does is creates a pattern of people just to be able to cement a win by just passing back, going over, passing back. You know what I mean? It's like a way to cherry pick. So that was what was happening. The judge didn't know that. Street soccer, right? We didn't get it right the first time. So
no, I get it. Yeah. Well, sounds great, guys, man. Great first night.
We're not done though, Jay. We got to give the ladies love. So let us go jump over to the ladies before you shut us up here. I know me and Drake could probably do this for a full hour, but on the ladies' side, like we talked about, man, I don't know if I forgot, but these Sugar Rush girls are for real. And the biggest stat and so the way that they move the ball, right, it makes everyone, the other teams look like in slow motion. RBDs is another one that was undefeated, and they're sponsored by Gazelle. They're our new team. RBDs actually won the Queen's Cup that we had 2 years ago. So they're not foreign to this. They're just enjoying the league. But Sugar Rush, I mean, they took care of business in both of their games. The biggest story with Sugar Rush to me, yes, we know they can score. We know they can move the ball. But really where I think what's giving them so much confidence is Braylee McCoy between the pipes. So, Dre, let's talk a little bit about that. What have you seen from her? I mean, the stats. How many times did she get scored against this weekend?
0.
0.
So, and so the thing is with Braylee, I think that there's going to be something to be said about the MVP trophy, right? If you're putting up stats like that,
that's crazy,
week in and week out. I think it's starting to give some love to the defense, right?
True, that's a good point too.
PKs a lot of the times in these tournaments, and at the end of the night on Friday nights. And when she steps up the way that she does, man, we got to give her a lot of love. I mean, everybody already respects her because, she has that feistiness. She turns it on when she needs to, and she just know how to shut the water off, man.
Most definitely. And shout out to Braylee because she just got her doctorate from Western Michigan. Yeah, so she's the real deal, man. So she's obviously applying passion to everything that she's doing. The other story here, I feel like with the women's side of things, so you have Lauren One Shot, reigning MVP Lauren, who you just saw in that video, no longer with them. And she moved over to, who did she move over to? Who's Lauren on now? Lauren went to, did Lauren go to, yeah, Lauren went to RBDs. I believe she's with RBDs now, and they won 2-0, and she's a goal scorer, you know, and so you got, that's the story right there with you got these goal scorers that know how to can make things happen, and then but if you have a goalie that can, and that's where I think in this league you're missing the mark. If you got all people that are attacking minded, you're missing the mark. You need defense in this because the speed that people can counterattack in this league is different. So RBDs is the other story. We'll see what happens. You know, that's going to be a good clash next time.
Mike likes to bring the Knicks up. When he's talking about defense, you got to bring the Celtics up, right? I mean, those guys can score. They also know how to defend.
Valid. Okay, I'll give you that one, but I don't ever want to hear that again. So no, it's there's a lot to come. We'll release stats, and the next time that we do this on this show, we'll actually bring up the stats and we'll have a graphic for everyone to say that. And we'll have Dre on here and we'll go through these storylines. But right now, what I'm looking to see how BIH responds. I'm looking to see if RBDs can continue. And the other young team to see is Venom FC. They're an expansion team. They got some great ballers, all college players from Davenport. And then they had this girl that had 2 girls there that's right out of high school. That's just balling out of control. So there's a lot. And the girls side of things seem to have got a little bit more competitive. There's no 10-0 games over there. It seems like 6-2, 4-2, 4-0, things of that nature. So the games are a bit tighter on that side and super competitive. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how things shape up and seeing how these new expansion teams can shake up the league. I think that's good, Jay.
Good. All right, good? Yeah, Dre, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it, and glad to hear everything went well. Every Friday night, or when is the
every other Friday night? So the next one's going to be not this Friday, but next Friday,
May 16th.
The 16th, and it's going to be ladies' night. So ladies, come out, get pampered. It's on us. We're here to celebrate you and show respect to all women and the greats as well.
Awesome. And you have a lot of times you have pictures, some videos, highlights on the Soccer Rebellion website, correct?
Correct. Yep. And go to all the stats will be uploaded there. And then on Instagram, you can check out all our video content. A lot of people sharing stuff. And make sure if you're watching this, if you want us to show your highlight on this, send it to us. If it's worthy, we'll put it up.
Awesome. We love it. The Rucker Park of soccer, right?
That's right, baby.
That's our goal. So keep up the great work, Dre. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Keep up the great work. Thanks for joining us, Dre.
All right,
thanks, Dre. Go watch the Knicks.
All right. So Mike D, getting into this week, we got a lot of things we got to talk about in terms of we haven't had the Sunday night soccer show for a while.
Man.
We haven't had it on Monday night for a real long time, but that's Champions League semifinals. Liverpool wins the league. PSG wins the French league. Wrexham got promoted. I don't know if you know about this one. The Premier League was awarded the 5th Champions League spot, and Leeds and Burnley were both promoted to the EPL, to the Premier League. So some big stuff going on. In the Champions League, the first leg is complete. So if you don't know what we're talking about there, Barcelona tied Inter Milan 3-3. They play again this week, and they'll take the total score. The winners will be in the finals. And in the other semifinal, PSG beat Arsenal 1-0. So they'll play again this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Total score will determine who is in the final for the Champions League this year. And also,
Jay, before we move on, Jay, who do you got going? Who do you got winning the whole thing? Because I know we made this call out a little bit ago. Mine's still in it. But out of these 4, who do you got? By the way, that Barcelona Inter game, one of the best games I've ever watched. One of the best. Oh my God.
If I had to bet money, this isn't what I would like to see, but if I had to bet money, I think it's going to be Inter Milan and PSG, and I think PSG may win.
I said that. Okay, go back.
But
to
I would like to
in April.
I would like to see Barcelona and Arsenal, but you know, that's what I think.
Yeah, those are the most marketable teams. I agree with that, but I had from beginning of April, I said PSG. The way they play is just tough. They just play tough, and Dembele is something else.
I don't know if you heard me there for a second. Did you? The Premier League got awarded the 5th Champions League spot. Did you hear that the last couple of weeks?
No.
So there's 2 wild cards now, and they allocate those spots once the tournament gets started. And I heard them talking about the 5th spot the other day, and I was like, what, I wasn't sure what they were talking about. So because Arsenal, I believe when they beat Real Madrid, that meant the Premier League teams had one of the best records so far in the Champions League. So they get awarded that 5th spot for next year. And then the other wild card spot that gets allocated went to La Liga.
I was going to say with Real Madrid.
So they get an extra spot for next year. So moving on to our stats and our standings, kind of interesting, something new here. So go ahead, take it away. Our league table starting out with the Premier League.
So Liverpool has claimed the table. Am I correct?
Yeah, yes, they have won. They have won the league.
That is over. Congratulations. Well deserved. They were unbelievable this year with 82 points. Arsenal in second. I don't know what the hell's going on with Arsenal right now in EPL. They are the last 5. They have 3 draws, 1 win, and 1 loss. So not on the very best. Sorry, Eric. I know you're listening. And Man City decided to give a shit.
Yeah, they've turned it up a notch.
Yeah, they turned it up quite a bit. And they are in 3rd place with 64 points. Newcastle still holding on strong, doing pretty well with 62 points. And then you got Chelsea now. By the way, what happened to Palmer?
He's went cold. No pun intended, but
He's
went ice cold Palmer.
He was like the guy that everyone was talking about in the EPL besides Mo. And I just he's not relevant anymore. I've never seen someone like
he had a penalty in their
lose
game
so many friends so quick.
And I think it was the first goal they said in like 14 games, 16 games, something like
Wow.
that. But that 5th spot is what's important here now, because that extra spot now, you have, Newcastle, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa with a few games left, still all with a chance to make the Champions League.
100%. And that's what's crazy. So you see a 3-way tie right now between Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa with 60 points. Man, Nottingham Forest really shit the bed.
One of them's going to be in the Champions League next year, probably. So that's crazy. But
let's go Aston Villa. That's what I want.
Yep. So, all right, moving on to Serie A, Italy.
Serie A. Let's not even talk about AC Milan. They pissed me off. Did they get the win today?
They came back and won 2 goals in 2 minutes in the 76th minute, 77th minute, and they won 2-1.
All right. That's great. So Napoli, this is a tighter race, and, Serie A is starting to catch my eye a little bit. It used to be kind of something that was too defensive for me, or I didn't understand it so much. But that was more like late 2000s. In the early 90s, it was the league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In the 90s. But Napoli in first place was 77. Inter. They're the ones that kind of fell apart. I think they were in the commanding league back a few weeks ago, but they've suffered 2 losses out of the last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
They are in second place with 74. Atlanta in third place with 65. Lazio with 63. Juventus with 62. Bologna with 61. Roma 60. Fiorentina with 59. Milan with 54. And Como with 45. I mean, look how tight that is.
Yeah, still a lot.
And Como's won the last 5 of 5.
Yeah, so they're a lot to fight for in that 4th spot there for Italy still. So
I think the parity the parity in Serie A is probably the best out of all the leagues.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
I 100%. I like that it's this competitive and this tight.
Yeah,
La Liga.
Moving to Spain.
La Liga. A lot of people give crap to this league, and rightfully so. In some ways, right? It's still, to me, the top 2 teams in this league are, bar none, the best in the world. Like something, they're up there. Barcelona and Real Madrid or something else. So Barcelona, love to see them back on top with 79 points. Real Madrid was 75. Atletico Madrid was 67. Athletic Club was 60. And then Villarreal with 58. And then it goes way down from there to Real Betis with 54. Celta Vigo with 46. Rayo Vallecano.
Yep.
Rayo Vallecano with 44. Okay. Help me.
Mallorca
and with 44. And so they're all with 44.
But again, Villarreal right there behind Athletic. So they're fighting for that 4th spot. Well, actually, I'm sorry, the 5th spot, because like we said, La Liga gets that other 5th spot.
Oh, that's right. That became very important. All right. So
yeah, still a lot to play for. Bundesliga, to Germany we go.
Surprise, surprise, Bayern Munich in first place. I don't think they've ever won it before in Bundesliga. So they have 76 points. And Leverkusen, right from there, 67. And then, say this one for me.
Eintracht Frankfurt.
55 points. Dortmund, 51. Freiburg, 51.
And the wheels
Leipzig.
fall off.
And then it just goes crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, I mean, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, at this point, like, make the league 4 teams.
Yeah. So
You know,
not much
like-
of a race there. Not much of a race
No.
in Germany. But we added the NWSL this week. So we want to give some love to the women as well and women's soccer. So take it away.
So here we go with American soccer. You know, you're living in America, you're listening to this, let's start paying attention domestically. Like, do your due diligence in helping the game grow here. So you got KC Current, Kansas City Current, tied or in first place with 15 points, and Orlando Pride also with 15 points. Or Portland Thorns are in third place with 12 points. Washington Spirit with 12 points. Gotham FC, that's my team, with 11 points with Mitch Purse. Seattle Reign with 11 points. Angel City FC with 11 points. So the parity here is good. 11, 12, and 15.
Yep.
You know, through 7 teams, you know, all with the same points. San Diego Way with 10. Bay FC, which is that the expansion team?
I believe so. Yeah. Right now, yes.
For right now, where is Denver? Or are they not in the top 10?
They're not in the top 10.
Bay FC with 8.
They're not playing yet. Remember, they got awarded this spot, but I don't think they're playing yet.
Oh, so Denver's not playing yet, and Bay FC and Boston's not playing yet. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but again, and now to the MLS.
Looking at the east side, you have Columbus, your Columbus Crew.
Crew.
Steady wins the race with 24 points. Philadelphia with 22 points. Cincinnati with 22. So Ohio, man, looking like they're representing the Midwest really well. And then Inter Miami with 21 points, dropping all the way to 4th. Charlotte with 19. Nashville with 17. Orlando with 17. New England with 16. And then New York Red Bull 15. And my New York City FC with 14. On the west side, Vancouver. They are just running away with this with 26 points. Minnesota with 19. Portland with 18. San Diego FC is the expansion team this year with 17 in 4th place.
Yep.
LAFC was 17. Matthew McConaughey's Austin was 16. Seattle Sounders was 16. Colorado was 16. FC Dallas with 15. San Jose with 13. So in the West, much more parity in competition after Vancouver.
And not too much foreshadowing, but we're going to talk about Vancouver a little bit more in the show tonight. But yeah, they're surprising a lot of people. So moving along to the stats.
Son.
No, sorry. We want to talk also now that the MLS season has a few weeks under its belt. We're going to talk about some stats in MLS. So we got the top goal scorers. Go ahead. You can have it.
All right. So this is where I'm interested as a fan, right? This is where, even when I play EAFC or FIFA, right, I'm not typically playing with MLS players.
Let me ask you real quick. How many of those guys are on the board? Be honest. How many of those guys on the board do you recognize or familiar with?
None. Diego Rossi. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rossi.
That's our point. We
Diego's
hope you're listening, MLS.
Yeah. Joseph, maybe. So, okay. Yeah, but I mean, it would take me a minute. 100%. Go back to that. That's a really great point.
These are the top 10 scores in MLS, about 7 games or so into the season, 10 games into the season. And you and I watch soccer every day. We coach soccer every day, all the time. And you got Christian Benteke on there. You got Diego Rossi. And Joseph Martinez. Go ahead.
I am just looking at this list. So Christian Arango. What's
the goals is the last number? I'm sorry. The 11 is the matches played. 7. He has 7 goals.
He has 7 goals in 11 matches. Then Hugo Kuipers.
Your favorite
Ryan
player.
Seacrest, yeah. Also with 7 goals, and then Ty Baribo for Philly. So your
second favorite player.
With 7. Diego Rossi with Columbus Crew. I didn't know he played for Columbus Crew.
Yeah. He did.
How did he look when you watched him?
He's playing well. He stepped into that role. You know, Cucho's left, and obviously they've had some big holes to fill, and he stepped up, man.
So yeah, the rest of the players have 6 goals: Diego Rossi, Sam Surridge, Christian Benteke, Joseph Martinez, Evander, Alonso Martinez, and Kevin Denke.
Yep.
So let me see. Look at all these flags here. Josef Martinez is the only one that represents America, United States, I should say.
Yeah, good shout. Yep.
So I'm again leaning more into domestic. Like listen, I'm not for it. I'm not against like other countries coming in here and playing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we're not doing what we need to do to produce within. Is my point there.
And I would also agree with you about promoting within.
Yes, promoting within.
So moving off to Europe, Mo Salah continues to have a great season, leading the entire planet basically in goals. 28, Lewandowski right behind him, Harry Kane, Redigue, Mbappe with 22, Isak still having a good season, Erling Haaland 21, tied with Dembele, Marmoush 21, and you got a new one in there, Girassi for Borussia Dortmund with 19. So those are top goal scorers in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Assists, Mo Salah, no surprise. Olise right behind him. Lamine Yamal, the amazing youngster for Barcelona.
Amazing.
He is unbelievable. 14 assists.
Where's Marmoush? So you said 2 clubs. Where's he playing right now?
Newcastle. Or City now. He went to City, right?
He went to City, right? Yeah.
So Bukayo Saka having a great season. Rafinha still up there. So some great players as we wrap up the season in Europe. And our clean sheets, Alex Merritt leading the way with 15. Oblak's still up there. He's been up there all season with 14. Villar, De Gregorio, Galacci, Sells for Nottingham Forest still up there with 13. So again, just some key stats, top 10 around Europe in the top 5 leagues. So we want to keep you updated there. And then back to our domestic stuff like we talked about. We always like to spend a few minutes on the Americans abroad and how they're doing. Haji Wright leads Coventry into the promotion playoffs, so they're one division below the Premier League, and they're in the playoff system, so the top 2 get promoted, and then there's a playoff for other spots, which makes it pretty exciting. Brendan Aronson helps Leeds to the title and promotion, so they will be in the Premier League next year. Pulisic scored the winning goal against Venezia over the weekend, or last week. They just played again today. McKennie and Way are fighting for 4th place in that Champions League spot at Juventus. And Eva Gaetino, the youngest American woman to score in the Champions League for Lyon. I bet you didn't know that one.
I did not know that one.
There you go. Which leads us to our big issue for the week, our topic we want to talk about. Mike D, you and I are out there a lot coaching, high school, coaching club. And we wanted to bring up this issue, too many games. The world we live in, I'll express my opinion first, and then I'll let you see what you got. But the world we live in nowadays, just everyone wants to play games. Nobody wants to have practice. And I will say it's against everyone else in the world practices all week, and then they have one big game they focus on over the weekend. But we're all about games, man. We're all about tournaments and all these things. So a typical club tournament for any age group, you have 3 games. If you make it to the championship, you could have 4 games in 2 days. As you get older, sometimes these are called showcases. You might have a game, 1 game every day, but you're still going to have a game on a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. So you're going to play 3 games in 3 days. A lot of times you have less than 24 hours to recover between games. So as you and I both know really well, you might have a game at 4 p.m. on a Friday, and your next tournament game is 10 a.m. on Saturday. And the most important thing out of all, if you look at that last bullet point, approximately 70% of kids drop out of organized sports right now by the age of 13. Why, Mike D, you might ask? Well, I'll explain why. They cite these as the top 3 factors: loss of fun, intense competition, and burnout. Your turn.
It's I had, like I said, I had 2 games this weekend. I had 2 teams. Both teams had 2 games this weekend. Having the time spent of driving 3 hours away for one match for 2 hours, and then driving 3. So it's 6 hours driving, 2 hours playing. That's your whole
8-hour day for one game.
For one game. The problem with that is the balance. I think Americans in our culture value balance in a lot of different ways. Yes, we might show that it's go, go, go. Obviously, there are people paying for this, wanting games, but that burnout feeling of not having balance, and you're putting that on a kid, that's what's burning them out. Is you're exhausted. You're taking away not only your weekend, but that kid's entire weekend. And so with my club, I try to give them today off to kind of say, yo, soccer is not your whole entire life. I still want this to be something that you truly enjoy, because the young mind isn't ready to take on those pressures. And granted, these were state cup games I had, so I am intense about it. I'm trying to show them life lessons that they're going to get with this. So I'm extremely intense. And this is a 14, 15-year-old kid that I'm talking to, saying, yo, if you don't do this, you're going to lose this for your entire team. This is your responsibility. This is how you go out and take it. That kind of just grind. I'm trying to teach them, like, the way I am as a coach, I'm a motivator. I want my kids to play as hard as possible, to think that anything is possible if they go out there and take it. But I can't do that to a kid, that's practices twice a week with me. And that's the other part of it, is I have to be so efficient with the times that I have things, that if I only have 2 practices a week and then I have 2 games on the weekend, where do I get to correct? Where's that time in between for me to be able to see this game, take from it, and apply? Like, that's not the way it needs to go. You need this time in between. I have the same problem with high school soccer when it's a Monday, Wednesday game. But at least I get Tuesday, and then I get Thursday, Friday. Right? So that schedule to me is a little bit more applicable. But with 2 practices and then 2 games, that's not set up for growth. That's not set up for someone to enjoy and see their development in their craft.
Listen, I've had parents talk to me in the last couple of weeks of various age groups and want the coach to cancel practice, like you just said, like on a Monday after a tournament. But they're afraid, the coach is afraid too, because the coaches think that the parents will be mad, because they're paying for, like you said. But the parents are sitting there on their parent sideline saying, guys, we've had 7 games in the last 10 days. You know what I mean? Like we need a break. Our kids need a break. And it goes, like you said, the balance. You talked about playing intense and being intense. And then the rest of the world, they train during the week and leading up to that one big game or the weekend. That's how you learn to play hard. You put everything into that one game. You see how it goes.
Right. Exactly right.
You go back to training. You train, whether you're little kids, whatever, 2, 3, 4 times a week during the week. You try again on the weekend and have a big game. But this stuff is just out of control, in my opinion, in our country. It's just mentally and physically, not to mention injuries and things like that, but just mentally and physically. It doesn't help kids. It's not helping soccer in our country, just in my opinion.
And this is where you need a federation to step up and say, here are the guidelines that are going to be true to development.
Yes.
And this is why we're in shambles, because you have the wild, wild west when it comes to clubs, and it's about the cash grab. Oh, I need to give you more service to be able to apply this much money. So if I give you 20 games, in a month, oh, you see how much I'm offering you? Like, it's about the money side of things. It's bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, again, 70% of kids quitting organized sports by the age of 13. I mean, if you don't understand that, if that doesn't bother you, whether you love soccer, basketball, football, whatever, that's a problem. If you're quitting by the time you're 13 already, that's a major problem. So obviously we don't have all the answers, and we need to continue this discussion. We have a great comment. One of our biggest fans. I do not care as a paying parent that practice is canceled at all. None of us do. Thank you.
Yeah, and you know what you see a lot. And here's a true statement. When you have directors from other countries to where the culture is different around the sport, and they try to bring that culture to American culture, to where you have kids playing multiple sports, doing multiple different after-school activities, and trying to make soccer the sole focal point. And I'm going to practice, right? This is where they see its weakness. And I actually understand that point of view. I understand if you have a hard day of weekends, you still need to go to have a recovery practice. I understand I understand that philosophy when you have more than 2 practices a week, because the last thing I need after having 2 games in a weekend is a lack of focus and a lack of enthusiastic practice when I only get 2 a week. So it should be my due diligence. Like, the way practice is constructed, and the way that we schedule games with this bullshit, like, let me call you and see if this works for you system that we have. That's, I mean, it needs to be ever changing. It needs to be able to be adaptive to that schedule. Right. And
But
you don't know what's going to happen. Go ahead.
Another thing that leads to that, you have a tournament over the weekend and someone else calls to schedule a game, and you schedule a game on, say, Monday night when you've been in a tournament all weekend, because it's the only time that works for both teams. And now you've had 3 or 4 games in 2 days, and you have to tell your team, hey, remember, guys, on Sunday afternoon, we have a game tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And and it happens all the time. And again, we know as coaches how those games usually go. They're usually pretty miserable and you don't play very well, but it's because everyone's exhausted. And I'll just leave you with this. Do you know any professional teams that play 2 games in 2 days?
That's what I'm saying.
They're the best athletes in the world, and they don't do it.
And so, Jay, let me tell you this. When you have tournaments, right? And tournaments are a whole different beast to coach and a whole different beast to perform. That second game's always a trap game.
Yeah.
That's why I say the best teams don't win tournaments.
It's always the hardest game.
It's the hardest game. How do you feel as a coach after that Saturday when you've just, and especially if you have 2 teams in a tournament? The most I've done is I've actually had 3 teams in a tournament. So I had 6 games in one day.
Jeez.
Back to back.
I've had 2. 2's the most, yeah.
Okay, so.
I mean, 2 teams, yeah.
2 teams. So you've had 4 games in a day.
Yeah, exhausting.
You're, as a coach, like
and then you have an 8 a.m. game on Sunday.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Yes.
It's exhausting. Yeah.
It is. As a coach, you're not even getting the best from the coach in that scenario.
Yep.
He's trying. Like, I know I'm trying, but like part of me is like,
no, but you're exhausted.
I'm exhausted. Yeah. And then we don't get to the finals or whatever the hell it is. And it's kind of like, all right, I get to go home early.
Yeah.
But
it's not the way it's supposed to be.
It's not the way it's supposed to be. And it shouldn't feel like that.
And the biggest thing, like you said, there needs to be, from the very top, there needs to be some regulations on the amount of minutes or games you can have in a certain amount of, in a week, a certain amount of time you have to have in between games. I know you've been in tournaments. I'm sure we've had a game at, say, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and then the next morning you have a game at 8 a.m. 12 hours later, you go to bed, you have a game again, which is just...
I told you about the Chicago schedule, right? We're at a game at 9 a.m. in the morning and then at 9 p.m. at night.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what? So absolutely crazy. Please send us all your comments. Again, remember to like and subscribe our channel here. We'd love to hear your comments. Love to see your highlights we can get here from the Bridge Street League, and the most interaction we can have with our fans and the people out there watching, our viewers, makes it even better for all of us. So make sure you like and subscribe. So we have a highlight here real quick I want to show from the week, and we'll get into that here in a second. I can't wait. I know you're excited, aren't you? I can tell. Whoops. I gave it away. Why won't it play?
Look at the stoppage time here. 1 minute left.
I know, but this is what's great about, it worked the other day. So anyways, it's a promotion relegation battle. This team is in the 2nd division. They score in stoppage time. And this means that this team will now go up to the 1st division. So they're just going from single A baseball to double A baseball, and they storm the field. There's still time going on. They storm the field.
Oh,
I apologize.
Really?
Video won't work. Yeah, we'll put it on Instagram and get it up there for tomorrow. But it's unbelievable. This team is going from single A to double A. They're not even going to like Major League Baseball. But this is how much it means to people, how crazy it is. They storm the field. They're all over the field, and there's still time on the clock to play. So anyways, great story. So team of the week.
Vancouver.
We had to do it.
You had to do it, man. They earned it, man. They are running away with it in the West.
If you missed it, guys, the Vancouver Whitecaps advanced to the CONCACAF Champions Cup final after beating Inter Miami. That's right. Messi and Inter Miami 5-2 on aggregate. They beat them 3-1 in the second leg at Miami. Okay. They're currently in 1st place in MLS in the West, like we said earlier. And here's the best part. You ready for this, Mike D? Get your checkbook.
Yeah.
They're also for sale. The team's currently for sale, and they're still doing all these things. So shout out to Vancouver Whitecaps. Came out of nowhere. I don't think anyone saw this coming, but they're doing a great job.
That's really special, man. I would like to see. So what's the catalyst of their success? It looks like they're scoring goals as much as they want.
Yeah, they took it to Miami. I can tell you that much. I watched that second game, and it's crazy. So Spanish words of the week. Who is your favorite player? Quien es tu jugador favorito? That's my attempt. Mike D is my favorito.
¿Quién es tu jugador favorito? I try to put a little roll in there.
My attempt. All right.
¿Quién es tu jugador favorito?
And with that, our favorite or worst part of the show depends on how you might look at it, where we bring in our backroom staff to show us all of our errores of the day.
Look at him.
Special Cinco de Mayo version, wearing his Knicks sweatshirt. Eric,
Hey,
tell us everything we did wrong.
you guys did good. A couple of quick corrections here is Michael mentioned that it was the original 7 in hockey. Michael, that's the original 6.
No, I
You
know, but
added
we
a
had
team.
7. I didn't say I knew that. It's like hockey, but we have the original.
You added a team. It's all right. It's okay. You like more than less. I understand that. You forgot to mention that VAR completely robbed Arsenal in the PSG game, so that's okay. We're gonna glance past that.
Don't be a Pistons fan.
We mentioned that it was a 3-way tie for the 5th spot in the EPL. It's actually not. Chelsea is leading 63 points. Nottingham has 61 points, and Aston Villa is 60 points. So right now, Chelsea is pulling up that charge. We had mentioned Bridge Street League. I wanted to give a special shout out to some of our sponsors that stepped up and activated out there and really made extra special kind of experience out there with Community West out there, Nature's Relief, Phoenician Spice, Gazelle Sports, Mixed Staffing, Moss Plus, Modella's. They all showed up in force, and they really brought something different, each one of them, to add to that atmosphere. So I wanted to make sure that they got a nice plug there. Currently, right now, the Knicks are, despite the best cheating efforts of the Celtics, have pulled the game within 9. So this is nice to see. There's a nice charge there. And a personal highlight of my own, my daughter Winnie hit her first grand slam in T-ball.
That's right.
This week. Now let's not even mention the fact that the last batter automatically hits a home run. That doesn't matter. She smacked that ball almost to the pitcher's mound and is now the first player ever in any league of baseball to hit a grand slam without touching a single base, because she literally ran around the outside of the entire field and still was passing people. So she did a great job. I'd like to commemorate Winnie for that wonderful athletic performance. And that's all I got for you guys.
Perfect. All right, so we did okay besides us just screwing up the whole English Premier League.
Yeah. Well, that's our statisticians, because they did that earlier on Sunday. So
I get it.
But hey, make sure you like and subscribe. Straight to the Training Ground. Mike D, Eric, look at that Soccer Neighborhood. Shout out.
I like that.
Love that.
Shout out to my man Caleb, who hooked us up with the logo originally, and then he also got me a couple hoodies and T-shirts. So we love that. Soccer Neighborhood's going well in Columbus, Ohio, as well. So make sure you tune in on Sunday night. Make sure you check out the Soccer Rebellion, all the great stuff with the Bridge Street League now taking off on social media. And until next time, peace out.